Okay. Hello. Hi. It's the show,
Oh, we're live. Here we go. We're back. Back in action.
which
Back,
means
back to the past, Samurai Jack.
Punch it!
and we did it.
We're back.
We are back indeed in the best fashion.
The best fashion, episode 121. We're slowly but surely catching up to our Mike cup of tea. I don't think that'll ever happen. It depends. You never know. Going into next year, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff happening. But glad to be
And
back.
no movies coming out.
No movie. Yeah. Oh, since we last talked, our last episode, if people haven't watched our last Hyperspace Hype episode, go ahead and watch it. We talk a lot about the Ray movie issues, or maybe issues, a rumor mill for the future of the Star Wars movies, the Simon Kinberg stuff. Since we last talked, I think we didn't even talk about that. The whole December 2026 release date is completely gone now for Star Wars.
Maybe we did.
Maybe we did, maybe we didn't, but it's interesting because we talked about like the future, where Star Wars movies could go, where Rey movie could go, and without the 2026 movie, 2027 looking like the first time we'll see a Star Wars movie. So it's just got 1 year longer to see the Rey movie, or the Rey movie might be pushed back even further, and 2027 could just be the James Mangold movie, Dawn of the Jedi, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, a lot of ups and downs in Star Wars movies, but that's not the case for the. It is still the case for the TV shows. What am I kidding? A lot of ups and downs with the TV shows happening. Unfortunately, no news on the Acolyte coming back. Funny enough, before we start, speaking of the Acolyte, which I love, go watch our Acolyte episodes. People who are watching this,
If you want to watch the Acolyte with us. We did a three-part stream on the different episodes.
I love doing that. Yeah, I'm down to watch him again. Get a whole other commentary. Maybe we'll say some different shit. I'm kidding. No.
Why don't we go in and I'll spin the wheel and you'll decide whether or not we're gonna have a good time with what we watch.
Exactly.
It'll be like, all right, you're gonna be like, come on, Andor, Boba,
fuck. Oh my gosh!
I don't hate any of these shows.
It's hard for me to hate a show, but there's a lot of shows I'm just indifferent on. I've leaned towards indifference when it comes to like the Ahsoka show. Even though some people might, like my brother and I were talking about this. It's like if you are so indifferent on Ahsoka, how were you able to talk about it a lot with a lot of different podcasts? Because it's easy for me to talk about a show. I can find stuff. I'm still indifferent on it. And if you watch my commentaries or my podcast, whatever, I was very. I thought I heard something. That was weird. I heard like a truth bug. Out. I heard like a bug. I was like, "Is there a fly in my headphones?" That'd be crazy. Terrible. That'd be terrifying. It just burrows in my ear.
I got stung by a bee on the podcast.
What was I saying though? But yeah, I'm easily able to like parse through character arcs, motivations, possible story arcs within a TV show and talk about it. But I still have a lot of complaints with like Ahsoka. But having said that, Dave Filoni did say like Ahsoka is his next big thing after he finished wrapping up along with Jon Favreau the Mando and Grogu movie, which is sailing towards May 2026. Smooth speed ahead. And so Ahsoka is going to be coming out 2026 as well, most likely. And recently, what's it called? Manny Jacinto, my guy, one of my favorite actors of 2024, not revealed. He was talking about Star Wars during one of the fan events over the past weekend. Some of my followers, or some of the people I follow on Twitter, got to meet Manny, which was cool. And he was asked, I think on Collider, one of the Collider people talked to him, was like, what would have been the future of your character? Would season 2 have introduced more Plagueis? And he said yes. They would have introduced more Darth Plagueis and the motivations and the complexity. Do you not hear that? I keep hearing buzzing. I don't know.
No,
It's just me.
this isn't a prank.
It's crazy. It's like it feels like there's a bee buzzing in my ear, but there isn't. There's nowhere to hide.
That's how it starts, Evan.
If I go crazy, yeah, it's all live. But anyways, he was talking about season 2 would have explored the complex relationship between Chimere, who we still don't know his real name, which will bug me to the end of the universe. Chimere and Darth Plagueis, of course, along with you can assume Osha and Chimere and how they retaliate or go against that probably. Man, it's just whenever I hear Manny talk about Star Wars, and the big quote that was taken away from all this was like he didn't want to divulge too much information because he said like quote I don't want to say too much because there's always a chance. There's always a chance. We might come back. We might come back again. Something along those lines, guys. And it just felt like I'm like, if Manny thinks there's a chance, am I crazy to think there's a chance too? Probably very crazy.
If I didn't think there was a chance, I'm spilling everything. I don't care if you're not going to do it.
Right? If I'm Manny, and I'm like, fuck Disney. They fired my ass. I'm going to start talking about X, Y, and Z. But
I'm going to write a book and I'll just change the names, but I'll tell the story.
That'd be crazy.
So Limir and Rocha went to.
That'd be funny as hell. But yeah, he said like there's because we could come back. He didn't want to say anything because they could come back. And if I'm Manny, I'm just like knocking at Lucasfilm headquarters every single day. I don't care how desperate it made me look like. I'm like, the fans want to see it. And I told my brother, I'm going to Celebration Tokyo, and I'm acting a damn fool. I'm going to go there every single panel. You will have to kick me out, guys, because I will say, like, renew the Acolyte. Renew the Acolyte. I'm doing that every single panel I go to. I don't give a flying fuck what it looks like. Okay? I'm screaming the Acolyte. I don't care. I'm waiting for the dead silence before somebody speaks, and I'm just screaming Acolyte, and then I'm hushing up. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm saying it.
You're going to be on the live stream.
Yeah. During the Star Wars show, I'll say it. Like,
bring a sign. Just like fucking go to the live show. Just fucking hold up the sign.
I have someone write for me because I have terrible penmanship. But yeah.
Thanks, Professor.
Yeah. Oh, they make fun of my handwriting all the time. Mr. Harris, why do you write like that? I'm like, just find the answer yourself, damn it. Okay, I don't cuss at them. But I do say everything before the damn it. Anyways. So yeah, that's just my Acolyte play there.
Yes.
But anyways, Nathan, we have a new Star Wars show, and we're going to be here every week talking about Star Wars Skeleton Crew almost every week because this goes through my Christmas break and the New Year's holiday. And if schedules, F up, then we'll just double up one of these days towards the end of the season. But yeah, Skeleton Crew premiered Monday night, not Tuesday night, but every episode is going to be on Tuesday night moving forward. You were right. At 9 p.m. I don't know why you
doubted.
I was wondering. I'm like, I never know these days. Some things are 3 a.m., some things are 9 p.m. It's up and down. I don't think it's as consistent anymore.
I told you. Now give me the money.
I bet $50. Yeah, no. Nathan's like, I'll take it.
Please do.
So yeah, what are your first impressions on Skelly Crew?
Fun fact, you could see him because I decided, instead of just backlogging this shit, because I never edit, I never find the time. Let's just do what we have over 150 streams doing. Let me just do the live commentary reaction. So I did that, and I was tickled. I was delighted. Oh. I was I have no third thing, but I was, Evan. I was. And yeah, this is delightful. This was fun. I really like this. This is very charming. A very charming show.
I agree. I thought it was decent. It was fun. It didn't like compel me.
Who says that? I forgot.
What?
It compels me.
Oh, but it compels.
That was fucking what's his name? Knives Out.
Knives Out. Yes. Daniel
Benoit
Craig.
Blanc.
Yeah, Benoit Blanc.
Makes no damn sense.
I cannot wait for Knives Out 3 next year. Kaylee Spaney, Josh O'Connor. Should be a fun time. Anyways, I agree. It was a cozy show. There was a lot. Like, I think this would be a very fun commentary. Nathan did, just say that he did a commentary as well.
I'll come back.
I started watching more, but I'm like, wait, I haven't watched the episode with Jalen yet. So I saw you started up and you were talking about like, hey guys, I'm going to do the stream. I'm like, I'll wait. I left a like though. Everybody go in there and leave a like. Because I get notifications whenever Nathan uploads something. So
I got the bell rung.
I got the bell rung, baby. Something I said ball rung. I got the bell rung, guys. Anyways, so yeah, please go check that out. I'm sure Nathan has some great stuff to say. But yeah,
well, it's funny because then I'll end the stream and I'll be like, well, me and Evan are going to cover this.
Yeah, leave it for the podcast, leave it for the commentary. But anyways, because it was just a lot of like, it's always fun talking through like childish behavior because these characters, you can call them flawed, but they're children, so they're automatically flawed. I mean, every character in the universe should be flawed if you're having a good character. And if they're not flawed, it should be for a good reason. Anyways, like Wim angers me. He really angers me. He's a very selfish character, but I like that they're setting him up as a selfish character because that's a character arc, right? It's an easy, like, I gotta be more considerate. Why am I Jedi 1 and my friend Neil here is Jedi 2? If I'm Neil, I'm scratching my head. I'm never going to be Jedi 2. I'm always Jedi 1. Anyways.
Neil's pure innocence. He doesn't...
Neil's pure innocence, but I hope he comes to realize, like, hey, maybe this is my survivor nonsense.
I think he has, though. I think he's... Because, like, they were on the ship, and Wim was like, isn't this the best? And he's like, dude, I want to go home.
I want to go home.
My family's there. My 3 siblings.
I have 3 siblings, and I was just gonna go home, chill in my bath, and you.
I get it though with Wim because his dad is kind of neglectful.
Well, he's a single dad. You can assume
he is a single dad, but like,
dead, right?
Dude, you have to like reciprocate some emotion because like every turn he's just like, make sure you're doing go to bed. Like, aren't you getting a little old for stories? And it was like maybe because he was like. Wim was like
he is way too old for stories, Nathan.
That might be, but Wim said that like his mom. Tell me a story like mom used to do. What happened to his mom? Probably died. So for him to just be like, aren't you getting a little old for that? There was meaning.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, he's definitely not father of the year, but I think he's trying.
But also, we also run into like that stereotypical kids aren't being listened to by their parents in like the worst way. Because like rightfully so, he was trying to get to school.
Yeah,
and he got caught in the woods, and like he was trying to get to school, but everyone was like, "Why did you purposely ditch your assignment?" Like, I didn't do that.
We'll talk about this because that was a very funny scene. But yeah, like Wim is a very interesting character. His friendship with Neil feels very genuine. I like these kid actors a lot. So far, I haven't seen any comparisons to the kid actors in Acolyte. I don't know if they're out there yet. I've learned to follow the right people, or not. I've always followed the right people, but like I've blocked all the naysayers and crazy people since June. But I think they're on the same level as like young May, young Osha, who I thought did very well this year as well, as playing their young counterparts. Because I really like Wim. I think the scene stealer though is easily Fern. God, I had the names written down here. Yeah. I did take notes, guys. I was like, am I going to take notes for these shows? I'll take some notes. I just can't come on here and shoot the cuff. I can sometimes if I wanted to, but like, this isn't Mando, so I'll give it a try. Fern and KB and Wim and Neil. We're introduced to 2 separate character dynamics here, and I like both of them. Girls versus boys, but it's very funny, very fun. Fern and Wim seem to have a similar, similar starting point to their character journeys in that they're both rebellious, but in different ways. And because Wim is rebellious and sucks at school, he forgot there was an exam Everybody else knew there was an exam. He was late to the exam. He didn't do so well on said exam. While Fern, rebellious, very cool persona, but she seems to be top of her class while still being rebellious. So it's like they both have like this attitude of like rebellion against their parents, single parents, but it looks like. And I think they'll both go on some shared journeys of like being more compassionate to others. Because Fern can also, I saw people calling Fern like, and I watched Star Wars Explained video. He said like Fern is going against a bully via like this race thing, but she also has tendencies of being a bully by teasing women. I don't think it's tendency of a bully. I just think she's just being very bravado for bravado's sense. I don't know if she has a lot of friends besides KB, which will say a lot about her.
Sure. But you can also tell like both women, Fern's parents, are more focused on the academic achievement rather than the individual.
Exactly.
I wanted. We also, but I think we also know like from like the coming trailer, like both of their parents are going to collaborate to go find their children. So I'm sure we can see the through line that once they return home, they'll be more considerate to their own children, whereas like the children will have like learned lessons and been more responsible. There'll be full arcs for all.
100%. It's a classic young adult show or movie. They'll come back and be like, I miss you, and I'm a better person now, and we can be a more united front as a family than what we were beforehand. I was hoping for, similar to Andor, we got a small glimpses of what was his name? Karin, the guy who ate cereal a lot, the bad guy. Cyril. There we go. From Andor. We got glimpses of his relationship with his mother by just having some dinner scenes, or he's eating cereal, and she would talk about like how his behavior is not right for the Empire. I would have loved some downtime between these two individuals, Fern and her mother, played by the way, what's her name? Carrie Condon, who I loved in Banshees of Inisherin. People have not watched that movie. It's very funny, very dry humor, but very sad as well.
She's very good in Civil War. Age of Ultron.
You tell me that every time, and I forget every time. She's great. I would have wanted some downtime between Fern and her mother and Wim and his father. We see Wim like packing up to leave in the morning, and then he gives him the father Wendell gives Wim some change. Then he quickly leaves. But then other scenes, he's just like either saying goodnight or berating him. I would have wanted just some more downtime between him and Wendell, and then especially Fern and her mother, because I didn't get a dynamic. I couldn't get a feel for them, and now they're instantly separated, presumably until the very end of the series. So it's like I wanted some connections there before they left. But I'll just say right now, one of my last notes for the show was that like in the trailers we do see Wendell and what's Carrie Condon's name is Secretary Farah. They're worried obviously for the children. They want to go look for them, but I don't know if they will leave the planet, at least early on. My main thing is, could they be the way for the audience to get some more information about the secret of Aten? I think they're going to be discovering like, obviously the government of Aten, the people who created the robots or whatever, who's telling people like you cannot leave. Obviously, they have to know what's going on with the mystery of Aten, and somebody has to know. It's not like somebody up top has to know why the world is so secluded. The planet just doesn't seclude itself. And there's theories already that like the barrier around them isn't actually a natural barrier. It could just be like a physical barrier that was created around Aten to hide it from the rest of the universe or galaxy. So I think Farah and Wendell's storyline could be looking for the children, but by looking for their children, they'll uncover what makes Aten so special and unique. And at the same time, be learning that, but through an adventure instead.
Very true. I was very intrigued about the whole concept of this being mythical planet. Because at first I was watching and I was like, this is interesting. This world doesn't look like it was ever touched by war.
Not at all.
And now it kind of makes more sense. This is a mythical planet that has seemingly been isolated, and hell, the kids are probably going to have to find their way back via a treasure map, right? Like to find the lost riches of Aten, which is just happens to be their home as well.
Exactly, their home. It's their home, and it seems to be so secluded. So let's just dive into the mystery before we dive into the whole episode overall. And this mystery seemed to be centered on the fact that Aten, according to pirates, first off, is a lost planet of eternal treasure. That's the quote from the guy from Mandalorian, the pirate. Don't tell me his name because I totally forgot it and didn't write it down. But he's a lost world of eternal treasure. The fact that they have to Paris think of it as a lost world, eternal treasure, it seems like a long time ago in their minds, at least. That it's become a myth. And because of that, also you connect the dots that like Carrie Condon mentioning we have to do these great works for the Republic. Great works was mentioned by Lena So, who was a chancellor during the High Republic. But I'm like, could this planet be secluded since a High Republic 150 years ago at base?
Well, what was the type of credits they
The credits were Old Republic, according to the pirates. And I'm like, is it Old Republic as in like Order before the New? And it's just Republic? Like the Galactic Republic? Or
in the time frame, is the Old Republic before the High Republic?
Yeah. It's Old, High, then Galactic Republic.
Right,
and
the
Empire.
I gotcha. That is interesting. I do think it probably is this land of riches, right? Because just like this little bit that's like this is your lunch money for the week is like worth so much money in the main galaxy.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like the father's just well off, right?
Well, no, I mean it's just like this is the amount for again lunch money for the week.
True. Yeah,
and then,
lunch money for
and
the
then he's able
week.
to, and then he'll give one of them to somebody, and it's like whoa, like oh shit, like this is clearly overpaid, and it's like oh actually no, it's like 5 times more, please.
I was interested because when he got the money on that planet or on that port, Borgo, I was curious because when he took the money, I thought it was gonna be like, hey, this is old, so it's worthless. But no, they go the route of like it being old, but it's still valuable. So I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay.
And the first indication, which I wrote off because like the ferryman alien gets one and he like frips out and like, oh yeah, and I figured that he probably would have done that for like any amount of money. But then when he got to like the actual response from the cook when they're in the port, it's like, oh shit, this is very valuable.
This is very valuable, exactly. But when you go to the planet, we don't see that valuable nature of it all. We see suburbs, which people have complained about, but I think they look fine. And I think the suburbs being like a weird thing we haven't seen a lot of in Star Wars. That might be a storytelling device that like it should be weird because like this feeling of I don't know, I don't want to say complacency, but this feeling of like weird normalcy aesthetic.
I think I referenced it in my stream. I was I was kind of like taken aback in a good way of like seeing this side of the galaxy as opposed to like because usually whenever we're at any point in the galaxy, it's either just a very low level village, right, or low level outskirts of the galaxy, or the highest
exactly
Coruscant level riches, right? So a basically like a more middle class level of the galaxy. It was like, okay, well this is interesting, and like functioning like public schools and whatnot. Like yeah, this like every situation the kids are getting into are like what we all grew up in. So
exactly, it was very relatable.
Yeah, we're not farmers, we're not high elites, we're just everyday people.
Yeah, but I've always lived like in the suburb. I've never lived like in a urban district myself. But yeah, so we know this planet has like a lot of suburbs, at least this part of the planet. I guess whenever we see a certain part of the planet, it's not like they're gonna go back to the planet at the end, and the most important part will be on some different area of the planet. That could still be the case, but I feel like the treasure is going to be within this district, the city, if there even is a treasure. But the fact that there was a pirate, Mr. Shmee, and I keep saying Mr. Shmee,
It's me.
SM-33. I say
Smee.
Shmee, yeah. Peter Pan. Their captain is dead, presumably.
I mean, there's dead crew members on board.
Exactly. So they're on that planet for a reason. They were probably the dead pirates were on that planet for a reason. Shit got crazy and it got covered by a landmass. So how long were they there?
Well, because the ship was crashed in the rubble upside down, so it was like clearly like this was not intentional landing.
Probably attacked, hit in the back, and then just slipped. Exactly, landed. But then because there's so much landmass on top of it, you have to wonder again. The people who are in charge of said planet, in charge of said district, obviously built around it.
Yeah,
right? Like nobody just naturally like, oh, we're just gonna build a whole hill right over this spaceship. Like that's just weird.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like this ship that crashed, like did they have involvement in the treasure in the first place, or were they just like someone who was like one of the closest to getting to it but didn't make it?
Exactly. I think it's B. I think they got very close to getting there, got shot down, died, and the person that shot them down, I don't know. Maybe it could have been again the people in charge of the planet. I don't know if there's like this secret Kingpin-esque person who's like making this planet so secret. It could just as well be like a Secretary of Farah or something, but like I don't know.
I am curious though, because it seems like a lot of the maybe not like the higher ups, but like a lot of the like law and order is through these droids that have they have set programming, as they all do, but they all do seem very like cold, like more so than like your typical droids. This is just like there's a restricted area, you're not supposed to be here, like that's their first official thing. And granted, in that situation when Wim's dad's trying to get help, they do genuinely like take him to go get help, but I wonder if they'll get to a point where they're trying to find their children and then they might meet a roadblock with the droids because I don't know, because also the fact that they are so adamant of like no one's supposed to be like leaving the atmosphere and stuff like that. It's like, what are you?
That was big, right?
Yeah,
the droids do say, like you were saying, nobody can leave and nobody can enter. It's a violation if you try to leave, and it's a very big trouble if you enter without permission. And I guess it's very hard to enter in the first place because of the natural or maybe not so natural barrier. So again, it's getting that feeling of seclusion. The droids are obviously complicit in that seclusion. But like we all know, the droids have to be programmed by someone or something, by some entity. Like, again, I don't know if the show is leaning towards like, hey, there's this person above it all trying to keep this planet secluded. Or it could just be a rigid device or a rigid, system that's just been in place for so long. People just go along with it. But again, for any planet, there should be like somebody in charge of said droids because they're droids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird that the droids are teaching, by the way. That would take me out. I'm not. It was so weird how a droid was teaching, and then Secretary of Farah was like in the back of the classroom, and then she got a chance to speak, and then she just left. I'm like, so there's no teachers in this universe? That's so weird. You shouldn't be wearing jack.
Because I also remember that episode of Mando. They are also having droids teach in the
You're right. I forgot about that. They had droids teaching in Mando too.
Maybe that's just the commonplace of like, let's do that, and then the people are running governance.
Man, if droids try and take over my job, I swear to God, Nathan, I swear to God.
Well, in Star Wars, Evan, droids are, there's good droids.
And there's bad droids too. Have you seen iRobot?
I was doing some research on iRobot for some ideas.
The hell are you just researching iRobot for?
Oh, I was drawing robotic arm stuff, and I was like, I want to look at Will Smith's arm.
Will Smith's arm. Quite the
plot twist. We need to watch iRobot, Evan. Evan, I'm itching every like few months. I'm itching to watch iRobot, but I'm like,
me too.
What if we watch it?
It's like one of my favorite movies. We got to rewatch it. It's so funny and unintentionally like weird, and it's a very fun movie. It's like the epitome of a cool sci-fi early 2000s movie.
Like if you ask me to go top 5 of Will Smith's movies, I'm pretty sure that's in there.
Wow. But you know what? Maybe yeah, I said wow, but like because Will Smith has done a lot of movies like Men in Black.
Yeah.
But like maybe it is top 5. I don't think Will has like the best filmography, to be honest. But like, I guess I can't make an argument for not being in top 5. I don't know why I said wow. I said wow because like he has a long filmography, but he also doesn't have the best filmography. It's kind of like Angelina Jolie. It's like she's a great actress, but she hasn't been in a lot of great movies. But okay, interesting. Yeah, I agree. We should definitely watch iRobot. 225 guys, iRobot, bet on it. So yeah, I don't know what else there is to say about this theory about what this planet, but so far the main theory is that like how far back has this planet been secluded? And like we were alluding to, it could easily be Old Republic, like legit. Like if you want to follow along with the verbatim of the credits, you could just say it's been as far back as the Old Republic. Which, if that's possible, like that's generations of families just being secluded, not knowing about like the galaxy at large, which is very fascinating. Because like even the children, they're so enthralled by women, or so enthralled by Jedi lore and stuff like that. Their books. By the way, I haven't watched it yet, or I haven't watched the video yet. But Star Wars Explained, Alex, he did translate all those stories. If you want to go to Star Wars Explained channel and like read the stories that Wim was reading, he translated that for you.
I read his thread, but
cool.
But I bet his video probably breaks down connections more to things.
Which again, he doesn't mention Luke Skywalker, which I feel like even in TLJ, like Luke Skywalker was like a big thing. And granted, that was 30 years post Return of the Jedi, but like 6 years, Luke should still be a big deal.
Well, it says it's a secluded planet, but the fact that there is Jedi knowledge, it does make it interesting. I mean, I think the fact that there are Old Republic credits could mean like any other Jedi reference are probably from that era.
Exactly.
I really like the reference to Jedi temples hiding themselves underground, which we saw in Rebels, which I was like,
Lethal. That was a huge Lethal reference. Some Jedi temples hide themselves underground so people can get to them. It's like, yeah, Vader tried to get into a temple too. And it worked, but
I always think back to like one of my biggest delusions when it's going into the Rise of Skywalker, because like just from the opening, Kylo's going up to this giant ass Sith temple, and I'm like, he's pulling out all the stops of references. We're in for it, baby. That's why the critics didn't like it. They don't understand. Watching, and I'm like, Ray saw that shit before. Oh no.
Yeah, I would have loved some like deep Sith Indiana Jones-esque like lore exploring from Kylo Ren in there. That'd been so fun. But
Wayfinder.
What?
Wayfinder.
That was something. So yeah, not much else to say about the planet, but it's very intriguing. So it's definitely the most intriguing aspect of the show so far, minus like in terms of the mystery of it all. That'll keep me interested moving forward. Try and like listen to every bit of dialogue and every different kind of setting to try and parse through why this planet is A, so special, and B, why it is so secluded. Is it for safety reasons, or is it from just the treasure itself? And by the end of the series, will they not be secluded? Will they know what's going on in the wider world? Will they be entered into the state of the galaxy? At this point,
in the trailer, isn't there?
X-Wings, you said?
Yeah, in the trailer.
I did not go through the trailer as closely as I would. So I wouldn't know. Yeah,
I think there might have. I mean, if there is, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be our boy Carson Teva.
Oh boy, Mr. Wolf himself.
Why are you mad? Why are you upset?
He does nothing for me. He does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing.
Well, he doesn't ruin anything, does he?
No, I mean, he does nothing for me. He comes to each scene and he just like he huffs and he puffs. He's like, "Oh, Mando, we're doing a shit job again," and that's just it.
Stop it. He's
anyway.
a likable guy. He is our Nick Fury of the Star Wars universe.
Oh, was he Iroh in Avatar: Last Airbender live action?
I think so. Guy? I saw him watch that.
He was good in that. He was good. The Iroh and Zuko storyline.
Zook, what's up, Zook? Oh, that's rough, buddy.
Zuko would not like that exactly. Very rough. By the way, our next Like a Tea episode, there's a lot of rumors going around for the next Avatar series. It feels like somebody just like at Paramount's getting fired because there's a huge story leak. There's animatic leaks on Reddit. The Avatar Last Airbender Reddit. There's like 30 pages of animatics, character designs for the next Avatar, character design for the Avatar's friend, character design for the Avatar's pet, and story leading up to the setting of the new Avatar. And there's already controversy online over it. Is this ruining the Avatar lore? It's crazy, guys. So if you're a huge fan of Avatar, I don't want to say it's a leak, so like go ahead.
For the next Avatar, like post-Korra?
Series, post-Korra, exactly. So Mike and Brian are making an Avatar movie, which is coming out January 20th, 2026, with Avatar, Aang, and the gang. But in 2026 as well is the Avatar series, which is the Earthbender post-Korra, which is very interesting. Because Avatar Studios is kicking into high gear. But yeah, it's been such an Avatar drought, and now all of a sudden it's like this huge leak yesterday and today. It's like I feel bad for obviously the studio, but like yeah, there's a lot out there if you want to look it up, guys. Anyways, let's finally dive into the episode here. Unless you have anything else to say about the planet itself.
No, I don't know how much more I could say in regards to something I don't know about yet.
Exactly. So we meet basically, spoiler alert, we meet Jude Law's character at the beginning. He's masked in a helmet, but
right away, like just the cadence sounds like Jude Law.
I was like, oh, that's Jude Law, right? It's
like a couple lines, but like when he started like turn away when there was nothing in the vault and I heard him talk, I was like, that's his cadence. He talks like that.
Yeah. Part of me, I had the same thing like what I saw in the Acolyte when we first in episode 5 when we first saw the stranger. I was like, he looks like that could be a black guy. He said something like a black guy, and then it wasn't. And then this one, Jalen was like,
that thread, and I was like, turn on my brightness. I was like, you sure?
Yeah, I was like, no, that's just Manny Jacinto in darkness. But yeah, in this one, I'm like, that sounds like a black guy. Nah, it's a voice modulator. That's Jude Law. Yeah, it's definitely Jude Law. So yeah, the pirate captain.
Star Wars is known for voice modulating to sound like the voice of a black.
Star Wars is canceled? No.
What do you mean he's
white? He talked so like British. He was like, "Oh, you can definitely tell this is Jude Law's character." But I guess if you're children watching this, you're not connecting that dots like we are. No. The mutiny sequence was pretty cool. I like the effects of it. It had very much a sci-fi pirate vibe, which was really cool. You know, I am tired of like the A New Hope references. Like this was so blatant. It's like everybody sit there. Boom, boom, boom,
that was an instant. I did like immediately. I was like, I've seen A New Hope, but then like 3 seconds later, I was like, did Rebels not start this way? I mean, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed like every Star Wars show has to have, not everyone, because Acolyte didn't. Anyways,
so
hasn't had their hallway scene.
I'm watching this mutiny, and Evan, I rewatched National Treasure recently again.
Peak.
Because it was on the Disney live stream, one of the channels. And Evan, if I'm in this situation where like I'm at gunpoint with all these people, I'm pulling a Benjamin Gates, and I'm just like, not literally, because I'm gonna be fibbing. I'm gonna be like, oh well, clearly like there's this little bit where we follow the seam of the ship to the front hull, and then I'm ejecting their asses, and I'm leaving.
1000%. Like, wait, guys, you can't kill me. There's a secret hatch in this ship. Only I know where it is. Which is great because like you go to National Treasure. One of the best gags of that is like Sean Penn is such an idiot throughout the entire movie. He's just like falling for a lot of Nick Cage's bullshit when he could just shoot the guy.
That's how they get him in the end. They're just like, oh yeah, by the one lantern. It was 2 lanterns. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and then at the end of the movie, it's like he got it again. I'm like, that's because you're an idiot. Just what are you doing?
I really respect that. Like he gets reasonably pissed when he got like the the duplicate declaration, but like he even took a moment to be like, "Damn, good job, Gates." Fuck.
Yeah, I love that scene. He's like, "Fuck." Yeah, National Treasure is like one of the best movies ever, guys. And the score is like phenomenal.
Do you like the second one?
Not really, but I watch it a lot. I have fun with it. It's not a good movie.
A lot.
It has Ed Harris, so I'm just like, I get to watch Ed Harris do Ed Harris shit.
I found the city of gold. I found it. You just wanted recognition.
You did. You know, Ed Harris, he can say some weird, corny ass dialogue like that, and I like it. I don't mind it. It works.
I watched Into Darkness.
Right. I forgot he's in Into Darkness.
He's the villain.
He's the villain. He's just randomly shooting at Federation officers.
Dude, next year has to be the year that we do the trilogy of Star Trek.
Man. Star Trek 2009, best trailer of all time. No competition.
We got to do the trailer episode. There's so many things. I started making a playlist of my trailers.
So yeah, Muni sequence was fine. He gets caught. Wolf dude's pretty cool looking. I like the wolf dude.
Yeah.
But anyways, and the shot of like the laser shooting the alien in the head, and it's just like not doing anything. That was pretty funny.
That was good. And I also saw like in the group, like one of them was wearing an eye patch, full pirate style, and I was like, "That's great."
That's really cool. Yeah. So pirate aesthetic, that's the main theme of the show. One of the main themes, and it was really cool. We enter at Atten, and we see the suburbs. We already talked about it. The suburbs seem very odd, but I like the natural, weird, homely vibe to it all. Neo and Wim have it. I would live there too. Yeah, there's a lot of like, hey, where would you live in the Star Wars universe? This doesn't seem that bad,
I was looking at Wim's house, and I was like, yeah, big open window, shelving, lighting,
living pretty well. Yeah, usually in movies, I'm like, close your fucking windows, have some drapes or something. But in Star Wars universe, I don't think there's a lot of crime.
The window probably like goes like dark or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, true. Because like Neil was just walking home, or Wim was walking home the following day, looking to Neil's house, and like the kids are just playing. It's the afternoon. You can clearly see all the kids playing. I'm like, if there's one bad guy, I can just like crash into that place. But anyways, I just have a weird dark brain. But yeah, I like Neil Wim's friendship. They're just playing outside the bus.
It's very odd in my brain, in a good way, to be seeing kids pretending to do lightsaber battles in the same setting I have in the real world.
Yeah. I mean, like, how many times did we play with our lightsabers, go out in the park or play in the sidewalk, just like with our lightsaber toys?
And they don't have real ones. They're just like flashlights.
Yeah. And then they don't even notice the bus is there. I'm like, wow, you guys were really locked in. They're like, it's like
they're doing the full performance, like they're fucking
pulling the blade out. While they're on the bus, they see Fern, who they don't know is Fern yet, but like they see Fern and KB driving off in their own like kind of, what do you want to call it, like a motorcycle, moped kind of thing there. Scooter, which is really interesting. We get to the class, and Wim had no idea about like the career assessment, and some people want to be an analyst, some people want to be whatever. But it's weird that they say great works again for the Republic. No mention of New Republic, no mention of like what type of Republic. So that just again goes along with our theory about like how old is this planet.
I completely forgot. Was there? I'm sure there was like establishing info in like the opening crawl.
There was a crawl. I think it just talked about pirates, right?
Just pirates, yeah. I guess so. Not about the Republic. Or maybe it was like amidst the New Republic, there are those who are outlaw. We call them pirates.
Exactly. We call them pirates. Insert Treasure Planet.
You're in one.
I said this is not Pirates of the Caribbean.
I saw a great tweet. I think I sent it where someone was like, I want to see a movie where the villain actually wins, and some quoted and said, "You're in one," like our world. Oh no.
No. Get me out.
How do we break the curse?
Exactly. So yeah, we see again, we're introduced to Secretary Farah, who we later know is to be Fern's parent, her mom. But yeah, this great works. It just seems very interesting. Everybody on the planet seems to be on at least the hope is to be on one track mind of improving the Republic, improving the galaxy, which is weird though, right? Like, I want to be an analyst. I want to be so and so. Will they be doing those jobs on that planet? Like, if you're doing great works to help out the Republic, but you have no idea what's outside of your planet, how are you helping said Republic? Like, isn't that a discrepancy there? It's like, hey, I want to be an analyst. So you go to your planet, you go up, want to be an analyst, and you're just analyzing shit 20 blocks away at the office or whatever. Like, when you go up, it's like, do you never leave the planet? Do you never communicate with people outside the planet when you get these jobs? How are you supposed to improve the Republic if you can't see said Republic? It's really weird.
Sure.
But nobody have that issue on the planet. Everybody's just doing their work, even the adults. There's no like question of like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So yeah. I said there's an early whim arc of just taking learning to take things seriously, consider the lives of others before he puts them in danger. I forget what I was referencing there. But yeah, we see Fern and KB, also very cool duo. We see them in the garage. I do like the layer of Fern's clothing. Her jacket is like inside out when she's like on the right, on the, you know, racing outside or on like in school. Like, what are you in here for? Or whatever. She's wearing her like the blacks on the outside. When she comes home, she reverses it. And she's like, oh, I've been here for a while, Mom. This is my school uniform. So she wears her uniform inside out to seem cool, but then puts it back on normally to seem normal to her mom. It's just a cool physical, visual way of showing Fern's rebellious nature to other people outside of her mom. So instantly I wrote down again how she's the exact opposite of Whim, even though they share common characteristics in terms of like, oh, they're obviously the alpha of like their duo relationship. Like, you know, KB follows Fern, Neo follows Whim, and they don't seem to be too considerate of other people. You know, Fern's driving left and right, very dangerous, and KB is right in their passenger seat. Like, if things go wrong, KB and you will take the L, not just you. So they both have like selfish tendencies as well. And Fern is constantly like teasing and lying to Whim when he gets in trouble. So it's very funny. But let's finally talk about this. So the next morning, you know, we learned that Wendell is a proactive parent only in terms of, like you said, academics. He's like, you know, good job doing your homework. Good night. Tomorrow, remember, wake up early. You got to take your exam. Do well on said exam. We know Wim does not wake up early. Very funny. Cut to Neo being like, it's like, SpongeBob, the bus is here. During that SpongeBob episode. But yeah, so this is where it gets weird, right? The bus is leaving. Wim's like, fuck. The bus is leaving. It's just chugging along. And he has a bright idea to get on his scooter, bike, or whatever, do a shortcut. He says shortcut. I'm going to take the shortcut. I'll be fine, he says. I'm going to take the shortcut. He goes through the woods, and he's hella late. Like, remarkably late. And I'm like, what kind of shortcut is this? Granted, like, he gets distracted because of the, obviously he finds, like, the Jedi temple that we know to be the ship. But that's
after he crashed as well.
And that's after, but that's afterwards. Before that scene, we cut to Neo in the auditorium taking the exam, like, Wim, where are you? And then we cut to Neo then finding the trench and falling over. Or sorry, we cut to Wim finding. So, like, even before he got distracted, this shortcut wasn't exactly short. So I'm like, what happened, Wim? Like, you took the L there.
Granted, it looked like while he was like maneuvering the force, it was like, this is not a good place.
Yeah. This is not a good idea. So I don't know why he thought that was going to be a shortcut in the first place.
It's also interesting that like the droids seem to have the forest be a restricted area, which you have to question why.
Yeah, why is the forest restricted area? Maybe because the forest was built on top of the secret ship.
On top of the temple.
I heard something again.
Do you think there'll actually be like a treasure of riches, or do you think it will just be like a Jedi temple?
I'm gonna go. There might actually be some treasure. I think they won't tease us with like, oh, the treasure was a friend we made along the way.
Because at this point, it's possible the treasure has just become the normal currency of the planet.
It could, but I don't think they'll play us like that. Continue talking real quick.
Okay, because I mean, at this point right now, it feels like the treasure really is just like the kids wanting to get home. That is the real treasure, Evan. The reconnection with their family, the true treasure.
That's bullshit, Bob. I wouldn't like that.
Yes, I know you're Jude Law in this scenario where you're like, that's bullshit. But now you're going to go on this journey with the children, and you're going to have a change of heart.
Well, yeah, that's easy. Jude Law's character is going to be like, my heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Now, this is another interesting bit, because I guess it's at the end of the episode.
But yeah, I just wanted to finish talking about, like, Wim was extremely late to exam. And like you, Nathan, I was like, okay, but he has a good excuse. Like, I was trying to get to school. Why are you punishing me for trying to school? But Wim sells it completely, or fails to sell his excuse.
Yeah.
He goes like, well, but Dad, there's a Jedi temple. Like, you had it. You were there. You were getting close, but then you, like, totally fumble the ball. And if I'm Wendell and I'm like, why were you late? Oh, Dad, I was late because there was a Jedi temple. You're grounded for a month.
Yeah,
like,
you were playing in the forest.
You're playing in the forest. Like, you should say, like, I was trying, I got lost. Don't even mention the Jedi temple. Just say, I got lost, or I was trying. Look how dirty I am. I've been trying. That's on me. I missed the bus, but I was physically trying to. And let's go further than that. This punishment was fucked. If I'm a kid, and I'm like, how old are these kids? At least 10, 12, whatever.
8?
Maybe 8. I can't tell how old these kids are, by the way. I was like, Fern is obviously a little bit like a year or two older.
They look like my nephew's age. He's like 9.
You think 9?
They're in elementary, right?
Like, I teach 6th graders. They seem like 6th graders. Like, they seem like 11 or 12.
Oh. Fern kinda, but
Fern seems like a 13, 14. I don't know. Maybe
it's one of those K-8 schools.
Maybe.
But yeah, this punishment is fucked up because like the deal that his father got him was like, okay, we'll be able to retake it, but you have to get every single question right in order just to pass. And I'm like, that is a lot for this 8-year.
It was a stupid punishment because I'm like, you're just screwing me over because like, there's no way for me, like, now I have to get every question right. It's like you can retake it, but the highest you can get is a D. Yeah, by tomorrow. It's like the highest you can get is a D, or like at least like a C or something. Like, that's so stupid. Like, this is supposed to be a big career assessment. I'm fucked.
Yeah,
my future's fucked. Like, whatever. Like, I'll be pissed if I was Wim. Anyways,
your state have an assessment test?
No, I mean, we have like the Ohio State test.
Yeah.
But then you take them in 6th grade, you take them again in 8th grade, and then you take it again in junior year, and then by then you're trying to go to college. So it's like, yeah, it's bullshit. I mean, it's good. Take your test.
It's just SAT training.
Basically, ACT and SAT, yeah. Which I think they're doing away with in some states, which I think is smart because it's like state tests are always just so arbitrary and reductive. But what's interesting here is that, like, let's get into the weeds of it all. Wim wants this to be a Jedi temple. And I think that goes into a lot of his character, right? Like, he wants this to be a Jedi temple. He needs this to be a Jedi temple because he's such an adventurous person. We see that emphasized a bit more even when he realizes that, like, this is obviously a ship. He really wants it to be a Jedi temple. He really wants to confirm his own dreams and beliefs because he's so bored. He's so unenthused. He's basically lost in his everyday life. He needs to find meaning through his dreams, through his fictional stories. He's always more captivated by his stories and by his dreams than by the reality of the world. And that'll extend to how he treats other people. He's so enthralled by how he is bored and lost and wants to seek adventure that he's kind of neglecting his friendship with Neil, even though they are close friends. And obviously we see that. It's like he puts Neil and the other 3 in grave danger by episode 2. And it's all because he needs this to be a Jedi temple, which is a big character flaw.
Sure.
Like he's a lot less worried about the safety of it all, even than Fern, who again, Fern has a similar character arc, or at least the beginnings of one. But even Fern's like, don't touch anything when they get to the ship. So we'll get into that. But like, I just find Wim to be a very aggravating but interesting character. I'm very curious to see what his head first attitude leads up into. And I guess right now we're on episode 2, right? I forget where the episodes end in Stars. I'm just going off my notes here.
I think it ends when they go into hyperspace.
Oh, duh. Yeah, you're right. So we're still on episode 1 here. So Wim basically, to get to the ship, the following day, he misses the test, blah, blah, blah. Him and Neil, he convinces Neil. Even though Neil's like, this is probably a bad idea. I need to get home. I want to go home. He convinces Neil to go find this Jedi temple. They go to the gorge, the trench, and there they get tricked by Fern, or KB, who is instructed by Fern to lie to them and tease them, basically. And I love this meeting of the boys and the girls here. I thought it was very cute and sweet and weird and funny. The way that Fern was like constantly teasing them. It's like her third time teasing them, telling them this big long story. I'm like, Fern is easily my favorite character so far. She just has like this bravado, which is obviously a front for her like insecurities.
Sure. I really like the moment when like they call dibs on the spaceship, and Neil's just like, well, it's official. They got it.
It's like what? It's like keepsies, something like that. Or it's just like, well, she called it first. They're like, damn it.
Them's the rules. Neil's my favorite. He really is.
And then I love how Wim's like, well, we said that's the rule for like getting in, but the outside. But now that we get inside, he's like, Neil's like, I like the way you think, Wim.
That's genius.
That's genius. I'm like, what are you doing here, guys? It's a very funny relationship. I also like KB so far. I thought KB would be the kind of kid that we only see her through her visors, but she takes it off sometimes.
I thought it was like she has no eyes.
I thought it was kind of like a Lobot. I mean, Lobot has eyes, obviously, but I thought it was just like
reliance on the tech.
Yeah, I thought she would be reliant on it, and it seems to be her character flaw is that like whenever she is scared or in a situation that might be perplexing or just at least confusing, or I don't say always dangerous, but like she uses the visors as a defense mechanism, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like as soon as like the biker gang rivals, like just boom, right down.
Exactly. So that's her like defense mechanism. So there's a lot of little things that I like about each of these characters. So I'm very curious to see how they go off and rub off each other. They get in the ship. They say don't touch anything, or at least Fern does. And you can instantly tell like Neo is like gravitating towards Fern and KB. And Wim just goes off on his own because they get into an argument, and Wim's just like, I'll go off my own then.
This really is the moment where you are valid in saying, like, Wim, you kind of suck.
Yeah. Come on.
He's like, don't touch anything, and he's going to touch big green button. He touches it. He was about to pull that lever, which is about to destroy everything until Fern stopped him. He was like, well, I wasn't gonna. Yes, you were.
Like, why? It always killed me when you go to, like, a museum or in a TV show or movie. It's like, don't touch anything. Somebody's like they're just pulled by this invisible force. It's like, no, just don't touch anything. Like, why are you so fascinated to get to touch everything? And then, of course, he jumpstarts everything and shit gets crazy.
Yeah. If nothing happens, you gain nothing. And if something does happen, well, now you're in a worse position.
Yep. And that's exactly what happens here. He touches something, and the ship, as we learn, is upside down. And this was crazy. They tried to leave the ship. They get on the outside. They see, like, the father, Wendell, has followed Wim to this location, and he's just like helpless. He can't do anything.
Wim.
Yeah. It was weird because like he didn't seem like
distressed.
He wouldn't scream. He didn't seem that distressed. Which I'm not saying like that's a story reason. I'm sure it's just like a directional choice.
Yeah.
But like in contrast to like I always make fun of it, but like when Chewbacca dies and Rise of Skywalker, Tom Hanks is like, damn it.
That sold me more. I was sold on that moment. Not that Chewie was dead because I saw the trailers. But I was sold by their emotions. Absolutely, Ray especially. But like, no, I believe it. He was like, no,
shit, Ray, fuck, what you do? Fuck, no.
I need to watch that scene again. That's not what happened. I know you're not saying he's saying that, but like
No.
he's distraught.
I just cannot take it seriously. I love you, Tom Boyega, though. You're great. Please come back. So yeah, the Lost League was great, though. I think it was very well, like, visually interesting. It looked very chaotic and messy and cool. But then they enter the atmosphere and they're super surprised to see stars, Nathan. They've never seen like all these stars before.
Big balls of gas.
Great Scott! And yeah, they were surprised. They were not. They were shocked to see stars, which again just goes into how secluded these kids are. It's like,
yeah,
have even the adults not seen stars? Like,
what is this barrier?
What is this barrier? And some people will, like, if you freeze frame it apparently online, these red dots, red signals, that might allude to like the barrier being not a natural barrier, as I was saying earlier.
I mean, it could be like a self-made orbital blockade.
Exactly. So we'll wait and see about that. But yeah, they've never seen star before, but they know of hyperspace, and that's what they enter. They enter hyperspace hype. And they're shocked, and then they get thrown into the episode 2 here. Before that, obviously we met Mr. Smee, the droid. He's a cool droid.
I like the little like rat in his eye.
Yeah, I thought it would leave, but like it comes back later on too. So
it lives in there.
Yeah,
and then Neil takes care of it after getting attacked by it.
Exactly. So I wonder if Neil is just going to, or if the rat thing's just going to stay there for the rest of the series, or just go in and out.
It's like Remy, it's piloting.
Right.
Yeah, I like the assuming the position of captain. And
good point. Yeah.
It's also interesting that like the missing portions of like the memory, because so presumably the rat chewed some wires in there. They don't really know like what their last course was. And it's also unfortunate that the ship doesn't have a log of the last trajectory it came from.
Yeah, they went through all the correct decision making there. It's like, what was your last known trajectory? Well, fuck, it's gone. Where's your captain? Probably dead. Any memory bank deleted. So it's like, well, they have no idea. And just you get that hit in episode 2 where it's like, wow, the galaxy is massive, vast as hell. Like, can you imagine, Nathan, being in that ship, a tiny speck, seeing infinite amount of stars, and realizing like, wait, there might not be any way to go home. Like, that's just like a freaky thing. Like, it's something you can't really visualize in our world, because like if you get lost in anywhere in our world, you walk a couple miles and you should be able to find some kind of civilization, the way to get home.
Even if you put us on the galactic scale, like our associated planets do not have a sustainable life, so we're nowhere.
Yeah, true.
I was thinking back to that one image that NASA shared, where it was like this super exposed image so far out in the galaxy, and there's like this one ray of light from the sun, this tiny little speck, and it was us, the Earth. I was like, oh. That's a scarier thought, because you don't see like, it's not one of those like modern ones where it's like, look at all these individual galaxies all out. It's just like darkness, ray of this tiny sliver of light that is from the sun, and you.
It's wild. It gives me like chills whenever I think about that.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for these kids.
I can only imagine how the fucking galaxy was pre-hyperspace travel.
I know, yeah, that's what makes it so like the High Republic so interesting, where you have to like chart these hyperspace lanes, and it's like at some point you can't even use hyperspace, so it's just like you're just free flying.
Just like, dead end hyperspace.
Yeah, you just like it's creepy. It's like you're just free playing the planet.
I guess I never thought, but so like yeah, the hyperspace is in like there was just like you like a current you have to like travel. It wasn't just like you can pinpoint it and your ship goes hyperspace, you have to enter it
sometimes. Or there were like these hyperspace beacons, and you would just go from beacon to beacon instead of just like the straight blue. It's like droom. Like sometimes you just go from beacon to beacon on like if people map it out for you ahead of time. But again, in the High Republic, at some point the Nile is like they make it dangerous to even use hyperspace travel, so you just have to go from planet to planet without using hyperspace. And if you do that, though, you'll be more open to pirate attacks, denial attacks.
Yeah.
So
I do like
lose.
seeing the evolution of that, and like, you know, most X-wings, like, they can travel hyperspace no problem, but then like an equivalent size ship like in Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan has his Jedi Starfire, and he has to link up to the hyperspace ring.
Exactly, it's so cool. So yeah, I love those technological advances. Like which is why I miss the Acolyte. You would love to see like hyperspace travels. Like Acolyte was pretty close to the current state of the galaxy, so nothing big there. But like, if we go further back in time, like James Mangold's movie, like I would love to see how they traverse the galaxy there in that movie.
You think they'll do the thing with the lightsabers are connected to the battery packs?
No, that was pretty lame. You don't gotta do all that.
20% battery on the saber. Oh shit!
It's like, oh damn it!
That's kind of a cool suspense idea, though. Like, I'll run out of kyber.
Because then if somebody hits you, you're like, oh, my battery pack, I'm screwed now.
Yeah, it's on a cord. It's like, a fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, they meet this planet called Port Borgo, where Shmi said they can get some, I guess, information basically, where they could possibly go. Their next, again, get some information, try and find a way back home at Port Borgo, which I think I like the design a lot of this place, this setting. This setting.
I like the design, the setting. You know, the clientele not so much, but like the open dome effect of it all, the big docking space.
Yeah, tons of different ships, and when they get there, it's like to get a ferryman, which is very piratey. Just I love the whole pirate sci-fi aesthetic. The show's doing a great job with that so far. They get there and they split up instantly. I'm like, oh boy. But as you mentioned earlier, Wim did give a credit to the ferryman, who was very ecstatic about it. And then when they separate, Wim gives or probably credits to the bartender. He's also very ecstatic and very like mystified by the credit. It's like, wait, what's going on here? So, but we already talked about that. So the credits are very interesting, and Wim's slowly losing them credits. He only has like a couple left already, and we're only on episode 2.
I was watching, like, he was hiding them in different pockets, but like he was just like out in the open. They were just like all on the ground. I was like, Wim, please, no.
It's like, yeah, bad idea. Neil, you got to speak up.
That is wild too. Is like, is there no digital money in Star Wars?
Yeah, there's always a lot of like, hey, give me some credits. Like, it's always like a physical exchange in Star Wars.
Yeah, they don't like transfer units, right? That's like that's Guardians. That's what I'm thinking of.
They can transfer stuff, I guess. Like sometimes on Star Wars, you can see like do like here, I guess sometimes. But yeah, a lot of times,
maybe in like big like Coruscant level, they have bank accounts.
Yeah, but most of the time, you're right. It's just like physical chain. Like, hey, that'd be a 20.
I mean, the fucking Andor, the Empire was hauling hella credits physically.
Oh, huge, yeah. So yeah, the droids. Let me see here. We cut to Wendell talking to the droids, and that's when they mention like, hey, there should be no way for a person to leave or enter. And Wendell's like, well, my kids just left, so we got to figure it out. So we'll see what happens. We have not seen Secretary Farah's reaction to her daughter missing yet. So I think that should be interesting next week. And again, I think just for the parents, I think their main thing is, of course, getting their children back, but also maybe learning about the secrets of this planet in general as they try and do that. Maybe we learn more about like what does Secretary Farah do with her job? What clearance levels does she have to help look for a child? And we go back to the pirates. They talk about Ad-Adens, like how is Ad-Aden some kind of eternal lost world? They kind of joke and laugh about it all. Stuff gets out of hand very, very quickly with Wim and Neil. The pirate from Mando hops in. Guns start flying out everywhere. I think this is when Fern and KB reunite as well. They all get like surrounded, but then that's when Shmi comes out and does a very cool action sequence with Shmi like defending the kids and going off.
He is a tank, man. Like his punching arm is lethal.
Yeah. It was really cool. Like
Mm.
his punching arm was lethal. Like he yeeted the pirate up. He was defending stuff with his shield arms or whatever. But he does get
He burned a face.
He burned a face. I was like, oh, that's gnarly. But yeah, just overall, very fun, cool action sequence. I really liked that part.
Yeah.
But again, he does get overtaken. I forget what happens. I think they just shoot him in the back or something like that. They
I think the back somewhere. I mean, like you can repair him, but
exactly, he's not dead, but he just he falls over. Yeah, the rat falls. The rat survives. They get thrown out, and the leader, the wolf guy, he comes over and he throws the kid, Wolfgang Puck over there. He throws the kids in the brig. Put them in the brig. What's the other guy? We're like, other guy. Who's this guy? It's the pirate from the beginning. It's Jude Law.
Which was interesting. This was the part where I was bringing up earlier, which I was like, okay, so he is force sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was a trick. I think genuinely he can use the force. I think I had said before, like he's in like his early Kanan year arc where like before he found a cause to fight for. Granted, I don't know like how far removed, if he was ever a part of like the Jedi era or if he's just
he would be old enough, correct?
I think he's old enough to like, yeah, he could have been like a younger pupil of that era.
He could have been a survivor of Order 66.
Yeah, it was only like roughly like 25 years since. So yeah, he absolutely could be 25, 30. Drew Law's like 40.
Closer to 30.
This character's probably like 40-ish. I can see that.
I think closer to 30 years ago now. 6 years plus the gap between Revenge and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. That said, though, I do wonder what was stopping him from breaking out in the first place. Was he just waiting for an associative person to get locked up with to then, like you have transport, let's get out of here?
Yeah, Jones said the same thing. I instantly just thought like, yeah, even if he escapes, how is he getting out? He's surrounded by all these pirates who know who he is. So it's like, if he was to escape, he'd have to know, like, okay, I'm gonna steal this shit. Like, there's no point in escaping if he has no escape route or no escape ship. But now the kids are gonna be talking about like, we have our ship, and I was like, okay, now it's time for me to escape because now I have a way to leave. Actually, which you can kind of figure it out from the trailer alone. It's like, hey kids, let's hurry up and go. It's like, yeah, he's leaving. He wants to leave for his own selfish reasons too.
Yeah.
By the way, I think. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
I think Star Wars Explained, Alex says his character's name is Jod, by the way. It could be his name. I haven't fact checked that though. But go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, I imagine Jod. Jod Law. If he's I think absolutely like he's set to get a ride, and I imagine his first initial thought would be, okay, I'm going to steal the ship. Easily, but then he'll probably catch wind of like the idea of like, oh, you guys are going to Atten, the actual like biggest riches in the galaxy. Like, okay, now that's a matched cause for us both to get there. I get you home, I get money, we're good. And then along the way, he'll get emotional attachment and it'll be like, screw the money and get you home to your family.
And he'll learn to use his powers for good or something like that.
Right.
Early thought. Early thought. Is he dead by the end of this series?
No, not a chance.
No chance. Not even a slither of a chance?
I don't think anybody's dying in Skeleton Crew.
Besides everybody at the beginning of the
one
show.
Goonie that died, you cannot.
I think Fern's a goner. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't put it past this show.
Stranger Things 4.
Yeah.
Which even then, it was like, no one died, but like it was brutal.
People died in that show.
Not in the main cast. Max got messed up though.
Didn't spoiler for Stranger Things, guys. I feel like a new character dies every season. Didn't?
Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. Fucking yes, Eddie Munson died. That is
When did he die? When he played the guitar? That scene?
A little after, but yeah, it was like the finale episode of the season.
Yeah. And then season 3 was Max's brother died. Season 2, we had the stepdad die, whatever his name was.
Yeah, died. Barb died in the first season. Okay, Barb yes. I guess I mean like the main, main crew.
They're never going to die. Like Steve is not dying in season 5 or 6, whatever it's called.
They kind of well, not even like they teed up the idea that Hooper died, but like the post credits signified otherwise.
Yeah, I still hate that. I wish they would have just kept that in, but I know they had like tease there.
Ooh,
yeah.
Let Joyce be happy.
And
anyway,
I'm happy.
Skeleton Crew, I don't think will do that. As a matter of fact, what I would love, because I imagine I will be charmed by this pirate era and this crew, I would love to probably see multiple stories of this crew growing up as pirates.
Oh, like
you know, good pirates. Yeah, they're like, you know, a genuine like crew who set off on adventure. Granted, you know, they're still young, but you know, if new circumstances come to light, that set them in motion. And if the world opens up, I think you could have more adventures for these individuals.
Yeah, that's an interesting prospect for like the future for these kids. Will they learn from their, like, you know, they'll have their own individual small character arcs and journeys. They'll come back to the planet at the end, meet their parents, like, hey, I'm glad to be back home, guys.
Yeah.
But are they going to go back to to their lives of normalcy, or like you said, are they going to become good pirates? I didn't even think about that until now. That's a good question, because I feel like it'd be weird. It's like we just went on this huge adventure, and now we're back again, living in this secluded, sheltered life. I just don't feel like that's possible. So they're gonna have to shake it up somehow. By the way, I think an easy character dynamic to see here is between Wim, Fern, and Jude Law's character. Wim has been dreaming of, you know, meeting a Jedi. He's instantly going to think, hey, Jude is a Jedi. Jude could play up on that, of course, to get on Wim's good side. Like, yeah, hey, I was a Jedi, cool. Like, and he's lying to him. But I think as a character device, Jude's going to be a glimpse of like, hey, if Wim continues down this like selfish, adventurous, without consequences path, he's going to end up like Jude Law's character. I think Jude Law as a character device is going to be like, hey, Wim, this could be your possible future if you don't get your shit straight, if you don't grow up, as Fern tells him to. And I think it's similar to the Peter Pan trope, right? Where it's like, I want to be just like Peter. But then you get there and Peter's like, he doesn't really have this idea of like consequences because he's like having fun with Captain Hook. And all the other kids are like, I like you, Peter, but also I kind of want to go home. And Peter, you're not taking this life seriously, because Peter Pan has always lived a life of adventure, and I'm just playing with a crocodile and a pirate. It's like, you know, we still have connections that we want to go back to.
Did Peter have a family?
Not necessarily. He just had Tinkerbell. You can assume that he did, but then he just, you know, he's lived so long in this fantasy world that he just he neglected it until he met Wendy again. I'm
gonna go watch Pan.
Oh, the early 2000s one?
Or not, Hook. I meant Hook.
Hook. Oh, Hook is great. Hook is great. And that's kind of the idea of Hook, right? Where it's just like you live so long in a world, you lose your connections, and that's the heartwarming. Yeah, heartwarming of that movie.
It's the flip where he's so disconnected from the childhood, and he has to rediscover the youthful magic.
Exactly. So I think that's for Wim to decide and to look out for. It's like, do you want to end up like Jude? And for Jude's case, he's going to be like, man, this kid really looks up to me. Maybe I should change myself as well. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic to make. And I include Fern there as well, because Fern is the kind of person who's also like seeking that adventure, but also is more wary than Wim. So I'm very curious to see where she goes. But she does have the responsibility arc of like wanting to be a leader and wanting to be in charge. So she has responsibility that Wim and the others do not, as being the older one in the group. But I think that's about it there. They look off into their new future. We haven't hit that like adventurous angle yet, but like I like episode 2 that it gave us that pirate angle with like the port aesthetic and the jail sequence. So I'm very curious to see where this goes. We have 6 more episodes to see where we go from here. People who have seen the future episodes say that it gets good, it gets better. Currently is a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes, very high. But I think it's one of those shows where it's just like it's hard to discredit. It's not as complex. It's very simple, which isn't a bad thing. But it's like a Pixar movie. It's hard for a Pixar movie to go below 80 or 90 unless it's like very flawed because they're cozy. This is a cozy show. Maybe that's why nobody's gonna die. But you never know.
Is this show going past Christmas?
Yes, January 14th is the finale, I think.
I wonder what the Christmas episode will be.
I think that's when they meet Santa Claus and beat him up.
Beat him up.
Yes. So the Daniels direct episode. Jake Schreier directs episode 24 or December 24th, episode 5. Yeah. Jake Schreier, I think he's the guy who did shit. What did he do? Was he the one from Beef? I think he's the Beef guy.
I think so.
And then Bryce Dallas Howard is the December 31st episode.
Cool.
David Lowery
next week, right?
David Lowery is doing the next. He did this week, and then he's doing episode 3 as well. So he did 2 and 3.
John Watts for the finale.
John Watts for the finale. He did the premiere as well. So far, better directing juice than what he did on Wolves.
Wolves?
The Wolves show, Apple TV movie.
Okay.
So yeah, very, very, very solid show. So we'll end off here talking about Star Wars Visions. This has me super, super excited. I remember I made a point like, man, I'm not looking forward to the future of Star Wars TV. Like outside of Andor, which is going to keep me alive for a good 12 episodes next year. I'm like, what's the future of Star Wars TV? We have Andor season 2 ending, and there's no Andor season 3. Ahsoka's coming out in 2026, but we don't know. We don't know how far that show is going to go. But now Star Wars Visions is back, and I can't wait. Star Wars Visions was last year, right? 2023?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So it's like 2021, 2023, 2025. So it seems to be like every other year, which doesn't feel like it. It feels like they come out in very short succession.
They drop them all at once, don't they?
Yeah. So yeah, it feels like a yearly release in my mind, but like, okay, yeah. It feels like season 2 like is this year, but it came out last year, which is crazy. But anyways, I will share my screen momentarily because I have a tab for Star Wars Visions. Here we go.
When was this reported?
November 20th.
Oh,
this was 2 weeks ago.
On the money.
Yeah, I think this was literally like a day after we made our podcast, our last Hyperspace Hype podcast or something like that. But the award-winning series first premiered in 2021. And Nathan, this time, in season 1, they had 9 Japanese studios.
Right.
Or 7, I think, studios. I forget. Either they had 9 shorts based off of Japanese anime studios. For season 2, they had a couple Japanese studios, I think just 1 or 2, but the majority is from a worldwide animation studio. So some from India, some France, etc. But now for season 3, we are back doing just pure anime roots with 9 new shorts from different Japanese studios. As it says right here, like, yeah, last season we had Japan, India, UK, Ireland, Spain, France, Chile, South Africa, South Korea, and the US. This season, we are back and we're continuing the anime notion with 9 different anime studios. And we have some returnees here. Kamikaze Doga, right here. They did The Duel, I think, was their episode. Let me see here. Yeah, they were known for the first short, which is The Duel. Cinema Citrus, right there, or Kinema Citrus, which is one of my favorite. Cool. One of my favorite anime studios, Kinema Citrus. They did The Village Bride, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, they did The Village Bride. They're also doing one of my favorite anime on Netflix right now, which is called My Happy Marriage. It's a romance anime, and it's very good. It's like a historical romance,
cool.
supernatural aspects as well. So very high profile animation studio. Production IG. This is the GOAT. They're very familiar with myself. You know, Haikyuu is my favorite anime of all time. They did Haikyuu. They did a lot of other anime. For Star Wars Visions, they primarily did what was it called? What was the first the big one from season 1? The Ninth Jedi. Is that what it's called? The Ninth Jedi, and then in season 2, they did Nathan's favorite episode, the Mechanic in the Jedi or something like that. What was it called?
Like a Black Spire or Darkhead.
Yeah, Journey to the Darkhead. Yeah, which phenomenal episodes, both seasons in a row. So whatever production ID is cooking for season 3, I'm very, very, very excited for that. Polygon Pictures over here. Oh, before that, Trigger is coming back. Trigger is known for the Twins episode of season 1, which was very big, of course. So, and some people didn't like the Twins episode, but I really liked it. I think you liked it as well, right?
I wasn't big on it.
Oh, you weren't big on it? Okay, yeah, no. But I really
hate it. I hate anyone.
Yeah, obviously, and nothing is like hate on. Yeah, some of these might not be for everybody, which is why I like Vision. Some are.
I'm weird, man. I think my least favorite was the duel.
Yeah, I didn't like the duel that much either. I think it was animated beautifully, but like the story just didn't hook me as much as the other.
It was cool.
It was just a duel, though.
Then there were other ones had like deeper heart, and I was like, well, yeah, of course I like these more.
Exactly right. Yeah, like I think the duel was just centered on the duel and the cinematic style of it, but that was about it.
Did you ever read the Ronin book? Was it?
I never did read the Ronin book, but I heard it was actually pretty good. I might read it next year. I did actually just get my Audible back, so I might, audio book it.
I have 2 credits to spend on Audible. I need to figure out what to get.
A new High Republic book came out this week called Tempest Breaker, and I'm definitely going to be reading that one.
Tempest Runner?
It's a sequel to Tempest Runner, actually.
Oh shit! Okay.
But one of the big names here that has me super, super excited is right here, Wit Studio. Very, very famous. I mentioned Production IG does one of my favorite anime, Haikyuu, but Wit Studio did season 1 through season 3 of Attack on Titan, which is one of my favorite fictional stories ever. I love it. I love Attack on Titan. And after season 3, they had to reluctantly let go of Attack on Titan because it was too much of a burden on the studio. And Studio Mappa did the final 3 seasons of Attack on Titan. But anyways, Wit Studio is known for, jump starting Attack on Titan and putting it on the map basically in 2013. So that's crazy. It's been so long. I know it's been over a decade. So yeah, Attack on Titan, Wit Studio. Wit Studio is also known for another big hit, Spy Family, which is a big anime as well. Wit Studio is just a huge, high-profile studio who has their hands in a lot of different anime over the years. Spy Family and Attack on Titan are just the first 2 that come to my mind. But there's a lot of other ones as well if you want to do your research on Wit Studio. Trigger, of course, is always really good outside of Star Wars as well, and I can't wait to see what they bring. Everybody pretty much knows Trigger's style, though. But again, Kazakami Doga, they did a duel, so you know what you're getting in for that. Production IG, you know you're in for. Cinema Citrus did Village Bride, so you know what you're in for there. The other ones, David Production, Polygon Pictures, and Project Studio Q are all new to me. I think David Production, I did a quick Google search before this. David Production, oh yeah, this is the big one. They are known for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Have you heard this one?
Yes, that's a big one.
This is a big one. JoJo Bizarre Adventure is one of the most famous studios or anime in the world. It's never been for me, but a lot of my friends love JoJo. It's very like flamboyant animation and just very high profile animation. They also are known for Fire Force, which my brother is a huge fan of. Fire Force. Fire Force is this anime about these firefighters who, I see firefighters in loose terms. They are fire wielders who go against like these fire monstrosities to extinguish them and save the world. It's a very incredibly animated show. Fire Force wasn't for me, just like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure wasn't for me. But Jalen loves Fire Force, and Fire Force is actually coming back next year for this final season as well. So David Production is going to be in the spotlight a lot, even outside of Star Wars. So I think David Production has a lot of people excited, especially JoJo fans. That's going to be a very interesting episode. Polygon Pictures, I'm not familiar with as well, but doing a quick Google search, they did do some Godzilla anime, some mecha anime, it looks like here. They use a lot of, just from the Google images here, they use a lot of like 3D CG animation. So what I mean by that is like, if anybody has ever watched like Iron Man Armored Adventures on Nickelodeon growing up, that was like 3D CG. So you're gonna looking at stuff like that. My internet is not working right now. Why is it not? There we go. Nope, wrong one. Polygon Pictures. Let me see here. 3D CG, and some of their anime include Ajin. Ajin's on Netflix, by the way. Ajin's like this ghost anime as well. Let's see here. Godzilla City of the Edge, Godzilla Planet of Monsters, Godzilla Planet Eater. So a lot of these like 3D CG Godzilla movies that have been floating around.
The ones from Netflix.
The one from Netflix, exactly. Yeah. Pacific Rim. What?
I haven't seen those.
They assisted on the CGI elements of the Pokemon Arceus movie and the Pokemon Giratina movie.
All right.
It says Star Wars Visions Volume 3, of course, yep. Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy, animation trilogy. So yeah, there are a lot of like 3D CG. So it's going to be 3D CG elements here for Polygon Pictures. Let me look up real quick. I think that says Project Studio Q. I wonder what anime they've done. Star Wars Visions. They worked on the CG animation, it says here, for the twins, but obviously that was mostly Trigger. They did Evangelion. Okay. Evangelion, Darling in the France. So also another mecha style studio. A lot of the things here are CG in terms of mecha. And even the twins episode of Visions had some mecha elements as well. So we could be seeing some mecha stuff in Project Studio Q.
Nice.
And I think that's about it. Everything else is what we've seen before. So interesting. I'm very excited. I think Visions is one of the best, creative elements of recent Star Wars. It's super fun. I love watching these. I've watched them more than once all the time, and they just have me super excited. How do I exit out of this? So okay. Yeah, not much else to say here. They're going to further demonstrate the diversity and creativity of Japanese animation. Some people are upset that they're not doing more worldwide studios, but I think you have infinite potential for Star Wars Visions. We can go from Star Wars Volume 15. I hope they just keep on going with these, dude. It's like, there are 9 animated shorts, like, spanning 20 minutes or less, 25 minutes or less, and they can just keep it going every other year. There's like
imagine having the catalog of like 7 seasons of Visions, and it's just like 50 shorts, and like, oh wow.
That's gonna leave a mark, a positive, like, beautiful mark on Lucasfilm. Like, this is one of the best decisions they've ever done. It's like such a great idea. It's not like, I think this is a much stronger idea than like What If or whatever. Some people want Star Wars to do What If. I think that could be cool, but like, I just love seeing what these different animation studios, they can actually think of what is their vision of Star Wars. And I think we see a lot of those in each episode. Also, a big question, Nathan. Do you think we'll see any sequels in Volume 3? Could we have returning studios? Could we see a sequel to The Village Bride, a sequel to The Duel, or even a sequel to like Twins or The Ninth Jedi? People would love to see a sequel to The Ninth Jedi. What do you think?
I would hope so. Big hope. I would love it. I mean, by all means, tell new stories. But I think for that reason, I think if we do get sequels, we're only going to probably get one story gets a sequel. I don't know which one, but I would absolutely like that. Particularly like ones where I like really want to see, like, I had fun with the Tatooine Rhapsody, but I don't know if I need to go back.
A new song to go.
I dig it a lot. I think it was one of my higher ones actually. But
you loved that one, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Just Gordon-Levitt can sing.
Did we ever watch season 2, by the way? I don't think we ever did a commentary on Visions.
No, we did commentary the day before season 2 of season 1 stuff, and then we didn't do season 2. Pretty well removed from it now that it would feel very fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, trying to think off of the top of my head. What was I really like the last one that was out there for season 1.
The very last episode of season 1?
Yeah, it starts with an A, I think.
Yeah, I forget that one too. I don't know if that studio's coming back though.
I don't think so.
But
I really like that one.
I like that one too. That's a very underrated one. People didn't like that because like it had a dark ending to it or whatever.
That's why I liked it. I like pain.
Me too. But I loved The Village Bride. I still listen to like The Village Bride album, the original soundtrack on my playlist there because I love the composer Kevin Pinkin. And The Village Bride is just a cozy, soothing score. I just love it so much when I'm reading. And I love the character. I would love to see them return. It had a cool it was like seemingly set during like the Clone Wars era, maybe like. It was very interesting.
I think they had my favorite. I think they had my favorite lightsaber because it was like just katana shaped, but it was
it was like so skinny and yeah. But obviously I love the Ninth Jedi too. Ninth Jedi is like what's next? They all like went out in the galaxy to like defeat some like Sith or whatever. So I'm like, there could be very interesting stuff with Ninth Jedi.
Wasn't that one like post sequels as well?
Yeah, and that just had like the best like carte blanche idea ever. It's like the galaxy is wide open post sequels. It was like so cool. And the Duel as well. Like the Duel, it had his own book, and I think Lucasfilm was very open to like continuing like what's next for this samurai.
I mean, yeah, if you want to give me some emotional development of him, absolutely,
for sure, right? That's about it though. That's about it. So Vision season 3, and we'll be back for episode 3 of Skeleton Crew next week. But that's about it. You guys can find me on Twitter, Harris EV9. I was just raving off stream about Survivor. If people watch that, we saw one of the craziest moves. So 2 people on the bottom, with the help of a third, went against a majority of 5, which is a very rare in Survivor. But it was a plurality vote. I love social strategy. So I'm watching Survivor. Arcane finished up 2 weeks ago or last week, and I am already missing it. So watch your anime, kids. Watch your movies. If you watch Gladiator and Wicked, go check out our My Cup of Tea episode where we talk about Gladiator and Wicked and our thoughts on those. And Conclave, which is great as well.
I gotta put them in the thumbnail.
And one of them might be Nathan's favorite movie of the year. You'll have to watch the stream to find out. Is it Gladiator? Is it Conclave? Is it Wicked? Part 1? We'll have to double check and see. But yeah, follow me, Harris EV9 for all things anime, TV, movies, even some Avatar leaks if you're curious about that.
Just playing into it.
Yeah, exactly.
You follow me _Time Blazer, making a show called Time Blazer with co-starring creative consultant Evan Harris.
Plain Ben. No leaks with the Time Blazer stuff unless we want to.
That'd be so scary because I'm the only person who has any of it.
That'd be crazy. It's like, who could it be?
Like, who broke in? Evan, we're getting toward the end of the year.
Yes, we are.
Could something happen?
I'm game. I'm game.
I'm Look, I'm cooking. I'm cooking right now. I'm assembling. I'm assembling animatic blueprints right now for a trailer, and then to finalize shots to then hopefully deliver said trailer. Hopefully by this month.
Wow. That'll be very, very exciting. So yeah, be on the lookout for that, guys. Like and subscribe so you're updated on everything Time Blazer and whatever Nathan's cooking. Because I'm pretty sure it'd be excellent. Are you gonna do commentaries for every episode moving forward, by the way, for Skeleton Crew?
I think for Time Blazer, so I was like, yes. For Skeleton Crew, yeah, I think I will. I think like for like stuff like this, I think I'm good because like again, like you have no idea how many Disney Plus shows I backlogged the entire season. I've not edited anything. Like we're talking like from the jump of 2021, I have stuff like I have every like Marvel and Star Wars show to that point. It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah. So great stuff. So again, like and subscribe, guys. Ring the freaking bell. And we'll be back every week talking Star Wars.
That being said, hope you have a great day, and may the force be with you always.